Okay, all right. Hello, hello. How are you today? I am back with a second installment of our series talking all about the chakra system. The last time you and I met, we talked all about what the chakras were, the definition of chakras. We talked about the root, the solar plexus, and the sacral chakra. I put them in the wrong order, but that is okay. We're going to roll with it. Today, we're going to cover the other four, and I am pretty excited about that. You will have to forgive me if my recording seems a little bit off, if my voice doesn't necessarily match up with the words that are coming out of my mouth. I have been struggling with some computer issues. I have replaced this computer. It is coming very soon, but we're just trying to get by today. Anyways, let's move along. I'm not going to spend too much time today talking about what the chakras are and focusing really on their definitions. If you're interested and you haven't watched that first video, I will leave it here for you so that you can check that one out and get all your foundational information. I would highly recommend you watch that video first before watching this one so you have all the information you need to know, but I will go over things, just a minor definition really quickly so we can at least, if you're watching this now, you have a bit of a basis. So as I said, there are 7 chakras in your system. These are your energetic centers. They run from the base of your spine to the top of your head. We did cover the first 3 before. We are going to cover the heart through the crown today. This is a subject I am supremely passionate about. I fell in love with this system the moment I learned about it, and it's always really resonated with me. And I'm hopeful that in me sharing a little bit about it with you, a little bit about why you might be here. The number one reason why you might be here today is because you saw the first video installment of the chakra series and you want the follow-up. You have been waiting patiently in your seat, excited to see what the next section will bring. So that's a pretty obvious reason as to why you might be here. I'm going to move my microphone a little closer because I didn't do that before I hit record. Number 2, when you hear the word chakra, you are immediately pulled in. There is something about it that's just resonating deeply with you, like you need to know more, like you're yearning for information, you need more knowledge, you need to have an understanding. And this is a great place to start. As I mentioned previously, this is a huge topic, one that encapsulates so much. I didn't bring my book over here, but I have a book that's about this thick, all about the chakra system, because there's that much knowledge out there. I am just covering it really high level. If you are looking for more information, you can go down such an amazing rabbit hole and you will learn so much. But again, this is just high level so you can get a taste. You can dip your toe in. And if you've been called, that might be one of the reasons why you're here. And you've probably heard these terms: first chakra, second chakra, root, heart, crown, third eye. You might have heard these if you have been into mindfulness practice or yoga or any sort of wellness journey that has a more spiritual aspect to it. You might have heard of the chakra system before. And for that reason, you're like, oof, this has piqued my curiosity. And as we said, if these chakras are meant to be like wheels, right? Wheels? Now I'm making myself laugh. They're wheels, right? And they're meant to go around perfectly, like a well-oiled grocery cart wheel. But sometimes when they don't, and they're blocked or they're not working as they should be, you can see this manifest in your own existence. You can see it manifesting physiologically as well as psychologically. So that's why I thought this was a really important tie into the idea of accessing counseling for yourself, or even Reiki services, which is a practice or a modality that will help to re-oil those chakras so that they're all working optimally and they for anyone that's joining for the first time and they haven't watched that first video all about that where I went into more detail about the definition. So a chakra is a Sanskrit word that literally means wheel or disc. However, it's referencing spiritual energy centers within the human body. So this, as I mentioned in the previous video, can have an impact on your whole entire life. These chakra systems, this chakra system, each of them individually are meant to be open, aligned, allowing your precious energy to flow through your body really beautifully and organically. And when they don't do that, you will feel it. So that's why I really wanted to draw your attention to this. So let's have a chat. Last time we talked all about the first three chakras, which are really rooted in our survival system, in the material world, in, the physical body. When you hit the heart chakra, which you guessed it is in the center of your chest here, I want you to imagine, if you will, a bridge between your solar plexus, which is your power center right here, and your heart chakra. So imagine a bridge right here. This bridge is indicative of the shift away from your primitive, materialist, consumerist ways of being, and you're now moving kind of into a spiritual space, which is, and if I've told you a little bit about the history of why I wanted to build my own practice and infusing that spiritual aspect into it, is because this very naturally happened to me. When many clients come to me for the first time, they are very much in their first three chakras, that survival, those survival instincts, stress hormones, and guilt and shame and grief and anxiety and anger and fear. That's all very much your primitive chakras, your survival system that's in play here. Many of us and many of my clients are living in survival mode when they start the therapeutic journey. But what happens is as you start to navigate it, as you start to walk that journey, it takes on this really different kind of way of being. You realize that living in the physical the way that you are, trying to fill the gaps in your life with material items, being, very consumerist in nature, it's not really serving your highest and greatest good. In fact, it's probably holding you back, as you get I've talked to many people about this, as soon as you buy something, you're like, oh yes, that's amazing, I've just purchased something. You get like an uplifting feeling. You're like, yes, but it doesn't ever fill the gap. And when you go through that therapeutic journey, as you shift away from this survival instinct, and you start to realize the power of love, compassion, unity, love of self, love of others, the world really opens up. You have so much more gratitude. And that's really why I wanted to build this practice out, because I wanted to support clients as they went on that journey. And being a practitioner that recognizes what happens once you come out of the physical and you start living from a more conscious space and a more conscious place, and you step into love and unity, there is a big shift that happens there. And you're kind of like, whoa, like everything I've ever known, everything I've ever thought about, the way in which I viewed the world, everything I knew to be what it was is no longer. It's different. Things are shifting. And walking that bridge, sometimes you need somebody to go along the journey with you. And that's really my role as a counselor, is facilitating that flip from survival instinct into love and compassion. So I want you to kind of imagine that is happening as we move from the solar plexus into the heart. But understand that, this needs to be kind of turned on. This walk between survival to love and unity, you need to almost turn that on in a way. Having a realization that as a human, as humans, as beings, that we are all one and the same. And moving from that place of love and unity is far more likely to move the world forward. So with that said, my notes are doing something really wonky right now, so I'm hoping that will sort itself out as I scroll. Interesting. Okay, this is different. All of my notes are missing, so this is good. Holy cannoli, my friends, you'll have to bear with me just a little bit. Wow. Oh boy. If you saw what was happening, you would be like, whoa. Okay. I'm going to just try and go off the cuff here and share with you as much as I know. I'm not used to, and I will be very honest with you, I'm so used to having my notes as a crutch to make sure I'm following them. This is a topic I know a lot about, but I'm feeling a little panicked not having my notes available, but I'm just going to try my best. Anyways, the heart chakra is right here. A lot of people might think that your heart chakra is your heart, but it isn't specifically. The chakra itself is located in the center of the chest. So while your heart is here or here, wherever it is, the chakra is much more than that. The color associated with the heart chakra is green, and sometimes in a more high vibrational aspect, it can be pink. It just really depends, but more often than not, the color is going to be green. So the greatest messaging that comes with the heart chakra is I am worthy of love and I love others as well. When you start to move from this place, and if you saw my video on love, we talked a lot about this. When you come from this place of love, when you move into this heart-centered space, your ability to have compassion for yourself, to have compassion for other people, and to have a unique understanding of who they are and where they came from, it's entirely different. It's really powerful, because before you hit this heart space, you might be someone that has been unnecessarily judgmental, or you might have struggled with judgments of others, or been really harsh, or had a really difficult time with forgiveness. Once you start to move into the heart space, once you start to get this chakra functioning as it's supposed to be and it's functioning optimally, you will have the ability to have compassion for other people. In fact, because you start to realize that as human beings, we are all one and the same, we are all unified. When you realize that you are no different than somebody who you lay judgment on, it allows you to really soften, in a sense, because you're like, wow, this is amazing. I can really look at this in a different light, and I can move from a place of love, and I can have compassion for that person. I really can. And it's a beautiful, beautiful space to be, but it is difficult. I understand that. Moving from a place of love, it takes a while to get there, especially if you have gone through life feeling hurt, feeling like the victim, feeling like you've been traumatized by others. It can be really difficult to come into that space and be willing to then be like, okay, I have love for this person, and I can see why they have done unto me the way they have, right? So if you're struggling in this area, if you're struggling in this heart center, one of the greatest things that you can begin to do is start first by exploring love for yourself. And I sent out actually quite recently to my email list a self-love journal. And this is a great place to start. If you've been battling with having difficulties with self-love, you can actually use a journal to be able to get back in touch with that. Because as you have love for yourself, then it becomes easier to have love for others. So that's a really great way to strengthen the heart chakra, and kind of the number one thing. Number two is when you're having judgment of other people, when you're finding yourself being overly critical of others, ask yourself, what part of me has not yet been healed? What part of me needs a little bit of love to be breathed into it, so that I can move through whatever is holding me back and start to have love for other people on a higher level? Because anything that we judge others for is indicative of the fact that there is work to be done within, because other people are a mirror of us. So if our internal world is not where it needs to be, if we are overly critical of other people or judgmental, that is an indication that we need to go within. There's a lot of internal work there. There's a lot of internal work that needs to be done, and it requires you to be introspective. So you can also do that as well. Wearing green is another great way, which sounds really bonkers, but anytime you're working on a specific chakra, if you are wearing that color, then you are naturally embodying that chakra in its wholeness, and you're living it, and it's much easier to be that way. Another great way, and this is something that just came to me, and it wasn't in my notes, but Louise Hay did a great affirmation series all about sending love to people. Like when you're in a car and you're feeling that road rage coming on because somebody's cut you off, a great way to tap into that heart chakra is to send love to that person that's cut you off. Maybe they're in a hurry, maybe they have an emergency, maybe they're really trying to get somewhere, or you know what, maybe they're wildly impatient and they need your love more than anything. Start sending love to people, even if you're angry with them. It doesn't mean you forgive them, it doesn't mean you condone their actions, but what it does mean is you can have compassion for them. That's what that heart center is all about. And the second you start moving from a place of love and heart and compassion, your whole world will expand in a way that you never thought possible, ever. So yes, that's your heart chakra. This is very strange, friends, without my notes. Oh my gosh. I'm making it through though, you know? So the next chakra, once we move from the heart, we move into the throat. And this is another big one. The throat chakra is located right here. Your throat chakra is all about your ability to express yourself. So the color here is like kind of like a blue color. It's located right here. The message of the throat chakra is I am free to express who I am. I am free to I can express my truth and speak my truth authentically. This is a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people. I know a lot of individuals, clients, friends, colleagues that have a really difficult time speaking their voice. And it could be that there is a blockage in this chakra right here. There could be a blockage going on, or something could have transpired when they were younger that showed them, hey, you are not safe to speak. And I mean, this goes back to lots of old ways of being, where parents are like, oh, kids are seen and not heard. And without even knowing it, parents have have made it difficult for kids to use their voice to speak openly. But self-expression is so huge. I mean, the chakra here is what communicates everything from like the root chakra up. Like this is the hub that communicates all, including your own needs. And communicating your needs is one of the most powerful things that you can do. And I know there have been a lot of conversations around, well, I wish people would just understand what I need. I wish people would just get me. I wish people would just meet my needs in the way I need them to. But sometimes we have to remember that people aren't mind readers. People don't know what you need. It's up to you to fully express, hey, I need this. And you don't have to come from a place of being like, I need this, and if you don't give me this, I can't be your friend. I don't know. I'm making stuff up off the cuff here, but to be able to express yourself and to speak your truth in a way that is authentic to you, in a way that is kind and coming from a place of compassion. That's that connection from the heart chakra up into the throat chakra. But the key here is knowing and proclaiming, I am worthy of speaking my truth. I am worthy of using my voice. The things that I say matters, and I deserve to be appreciated and understood in the way that meets my needs. But if you're not using that chakra, if you're not using it in the way it was intended to, like if you're a person that is very mild, like you have a very low voice and you're talking very, very quietly, and people are like always like, speak up, that could be indicative of a blockage here. If you get like a knot in your throat every time you go and try and speak your truth, and you're like, no, I can't, what would people think? They're going to judge me, they're going to have an opinion on me, and yada, yada, yada. That's another good way of knowing that it is, that there is a blockage here. But your self-expression is important. The things that you have to say are important, and they are worthy. They deserve to be heard. So how are you going to start to get this chakra moving again? Because I know this is going to be terrifying for a lot of different people, but I want to validate that it is okay. I want to validate the fact that what you have to speak is worthy, is valid, but you've got to start small. The first thing that you could start to do as you begin to think about what you want to say and what you want to express is journaling it out. Perhaps you want to share with somebody, or you want to articulate your needs with a partner or a friend, or you want to set a boundary. Write it down first. Get all of your thoughts out on paper, because it's a lot easier to speak it to somebody when you have your own thoughts kind of written down and you know what you want to say. Half the battle is like, oh man, I get stuck whenever things get heated. I don't know what I'm going to say anymore, and then I freak out and I don't say anything. I don't say anything I want to say. But if you can write it down first, and don't be afraid to bring your notepad. Like bring your notepad with you if you have something to share with someone. This is my cute little notebook. Bring it with you. If you have something that you want to express to someone, bring it there. Don't be afraid. It's okay. They might freak out and be like, why does she have a notepad? But that's on them. It's not on you. And then you can go through your points and really start small. Start giving your opinion in a really small way. If your partner says, hey, what do you want for dinner? Chicken or fish? And normally you'd be like, oh, it's okay. Whatever you want. And you don't want to rock the boat. Say, you know what? I really like the chicken today. And then, no, don't cover, and see what happens. And as you start to practice using your voice more and more, as you start to practice it, it will become easier, because 90% of the time you're not using your voice for fear of judgment. So as you start to practice and you start to do it and you start to use it more, then you find out, you're like, wait a minute, that wasn't that bad. They didn't yell at me. They didn't scream at me. In fact, it was fine. And then it's validation that what you're saying does matter. So again, if you want to really empower that chakra while you're having that conversation, throw on a blue shirt, and you and your chakra can go and have the conversation with whoever it is. You're ready to go. That is your throat chakra. And if you have difficulty speaking, you are not alone. This is one that really needs a lot of practice, but it is one that is so worthwhile finding your voice and speaking authentically, that you will be a changed person forever. I promise you. So let's move on, moving on up. We're going to our third eye. And I really wanted to do all the Sanskrit words, but I can't remember them off the top of my head, but I do remember this one. It's Ajna. Yes, good job, Denise. I remember the one, but there's the third eye is an interesting one, because the third eye's color is like an indigo. So while this is blue, this is like a really nice indigo color. It's like a darker color. It's located right between your eyebrows, and this is the home of your intuition. And if you know me at all, you know I love intuition. I talk about it tons. It is your inner GPS. It's your guidance system. It is something that can be uniquely relied on for you and that never leaves you. Your intuition is with you from the day you were born until the day you leave this earth plane, and your journey here is done. It is with you. Nobody can take it away from you. It is uniquely your own, and it is always there. But what happens is, as we navigate through life, as we go through life, as we go through our experiences and our journey and all these things, we begin to not have trust or faith in our intuition. We begin to think that our intuition can't be relied on, because if we could rely on our intuition, maybe we wouldn't have made the mistakes that we made. But the thing is that we're also taught as children that we should rely on logic and analyzing more, be really analytical. And there is something to be said for that. I mean, obviously the weighing pros and cons is a really big part of the human experience, but there's something to be said about your intuition, and this is the home of it. This is where it lives, and tapping into it can be very powerful. And if you're a very indecisive person, if you're a person that struggled with making decisions for yourself, it could be that there is a blockage here in your third eye, your intuition space. So what you're going to want to do here, now this one, as we get up into these other chakras, meditation becomes a really powerful way to tap into them, because it allows you to disassociate from the busy brain, disassociate from the ego mind. That is really the point of meditation, so that you can be with your thoughts, but not actually attach any sort of meaning to them, just allowing them to be present and allowing them to be there. One great way to start tapping into your third eye and understanding and building trust with your intuition is to do a meditation and to sit. Even put on like a music for 5 minutes, something, piano, whatever you like, violins, whatever it is, anything that relaxes you, and really close your eyes and focus your gaze to that space. Just focus your gaze to that space and allow your breathing to happen and see what comes up for you. Set the intention, I want to tap into my third eye. And you can actually picture the chakra itself starting to move. You can picture it, moving really wonderfully and like really with ease and with flow. You can picture that all happening in your third eye space. And the more that you do this, the more that you practice this, the stronger it will get. You also want to build trust with that intuitive piece of you. You also want to build trust, a really big amount of trust with it. And it takes time, because if you have learned that you can't rely on your intuition, or if you haven't trusted it in some time because of whatever has happened or transpired in your life, it's going to take some time to get there. But if you can test your intuition, if you can start to listen to it or allow it to weigh in sometimes on decisions you're making. Like, let's say you're going to go buy a house. And I know this is a big example, but when we bought our house, most of us, the house we're in now, we had looked at dozens of houses. We came into this one and we knew within 15 minutes it was the right house, because all of us were trusting our intuition at that point. We were like, yes, this is it. It was a feeling we knew. And it wasn't even like, we didn't even have to rely on logic at that point. We were just like, yes, this is the one finally. And in 10 minutes, we all knew, 4 people, all of us knew this was the right house. Because it's that powerful intention, intuition. So if you are trying to make that decision and you're like, I don't know, this, that, they both have this, they both have that, ask your intuition. Intuition, guide me. Which house is the right house for us? Which house is the right one? You can do this with anything. Like if you're trying to pick a new kitchen sink and you're trying to decide between black and white, farmhouse or the standard traditional one, ask your intuition. And as you listen to it and you make decisions and you move from a place of intuition as opposed to just logic and reason, it will be strengthened. That's another really great way to connect to the third eye. I know it's kind of like, I hate the term woo-woo, but I guess in this case, I'll just use it for the sake of it being something that people can probably conceptualize. But it is really true. This is where your intuition lies, and it is all yours. So start calling on it and having trust in it. And then finally, we're moving up to our crown chakra. If you're wondering where the crown chakra is, it is right here. Your crown chakra is the color violet, and in the higher vibrational, higher frequencies, as you tap into your crown chakra more and more, it is then white light. So this one is interesting. And I know I had talked about in my previous video, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and using that as a way to kind of conceptualize how the chakra system is. At the top of that pyramid is self-actualization. And similarly in the chakra system, this is very similar. This is your connection to the divine. This is your connection to spirituality, whatever that might mean to you, because it's going to mean different things to different people. For some people, it could be religion, it could be faith of some type. For other people, it could just be knowing that you are a part of a bigger universe, that there is something larger than you at play here, that you are divinely supported by the universe. And this is your connection to that. And it takes some time to get to the place where you are active in your crown chakra. For some, it might never happen, and that's okay too. You'll sometimes just get glimpses of it. Sometimes if you are in this space, it'll come like in a period of deep meditation or journaling, or you'll know when you get there because you just feel connected to something greater than you. Even for me, I mean, like, I have worked on all of my chakras in many different ways, and I only really get glimpses of the majesty that is this divine connection to source energy occasionally, and it typically comes in meditation. So this is something to strive for, but I don't want you to feel like it's impossible. I don't want you to feel like, oh, I didn't get to my crown chakra, I failed at life. No, serves as a reminder that you are supported in a big, huge way, that you are not just little old you, that you are part of an amazing ecosystem. You are part of humanity. You are meant to come here and do amazing things. And that is kind of where this lives, is knowing that you're here to serve a greater purpose. So how can you strengthen this? I'm going to say it again, meditation is your best friend. And if you're new to meditation, I don't want you to freak out, because many people find it difficult in the beginning. Start with 3 minutes, just 3 minutes, and see what happens. And you can build it. It's like a muscle. But the more that you practice meditation, you can even do guided meditations that take you on a bit of a journey. And you can find them even on YouTube. If you Google Crown Chakra meditation, you will find them. And you can start to tap into this incredible universal power that is always surrounding you, that has your back, that wants to give you the things you want if only you recognize how powerful you are as a being. This is a source of huge potentiality, and you are being a potentiality. And to tap into that, you have to realize how much strength you have, how much power you have, that you aren't just little old Mary or Sally or Tommy or Davy. You are so much bigger than that. You are so much more than that. Your ability and your capabilities far exceed anything that you could ever imagine. But you have to be able to tap into that energy and that power. And this is what the chakra system is all about. Moving out of your primitive being, your survival instincts, and into this amazing place where you're like, man, I can cultivate the life I want for myself. I can have the things I want in life. I need only start taking movements forward and knowing and trusting and having faith that I will be supported in whatever I do. And I'm so proud of myself in this moment that I was able to make it through. Look at me. I didn't think I could do it, but I did. Alas, I've made it to the end of the chakra system. We have made it to the end of this incredible series. I am so happy that you joined me. Now, as I said, one of the greatest ways to really hone into your chakra system and get everything moving the way it should be and do a bit of a reset is the practice of Reiki. It is an amazing healing modality. And I, as a Reiki practitioner, can actually perform this from a distance. So if Reiki is something you are curious about, if you think that you want to explore that a little bit, please reach out to me, because it will bring to life all of these chakras and start moving them in the right direction and getting them functioning where they need to be, so that you can really live life optimally and believe and know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you are capable of anything. That is just one of the amazing things it does. It also has all kinds of different healing properties, helps you sleep, soothes anxiety, soothes all types of things. If you're healing from something like if you have a sprained ankle, it can really be supportive and therapeutic in that way as well too. But if you have any questions about that, please send me a message and I would be happy to discuss. But with that, I would like to thank you for being here. Thank you for making it to the end. Thank you for bearing with me as I dealt with computer issues and notes issues and just supporting me completely and entirely and not being judgmental. I truly appreciate it. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.